What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here. And inside of this box, which is labeled fragile, was packaged the no other than Red Panda Mining. And he packaged this thing up so good, it was hard to get a hold of. So let's open it up and see what is in it. So I do believe that Panda originally showed this on his channel, and I guess now it's my turn. And I do believe it's also in partnership with Helium Deploy, so links will obviously be down in the description. But we should have a Nexus in here if I can get to it. So it's going to be hard to open this with one hand. I don't want to break anything. So, let's do some YouTube magic. So the box did come with a tear in here. That's probably from when he rage opened. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. Come on. I was hoping what I would find, looks like I got to flip this around. I was hoping there'd be a couple HX 170s inside of this thing, on top of that as a bonus present to showcase. But it looks like that's not the case. But here we can see Nerd QX right here. Let's pop this open. Oh my gosh, we got some Panda merch, guys. Look at this. Red Panda Mining stuffed some stickers inside of this miner as well. Mr. Red Panda Mining, who is technically my neighbor, he's in the province beside me in BC. I'm in Alberta. Sent me some of his stickers. We got the hologram one here, and we have some normal ones, and a nice little mini panda right there. So, what is this? I see a red fan and a copper heatsink. There it is, guys. The Nexus Miner Model S1 version 1. Pretty sweet. Let's check this thing out. All right, so before I do power this thing on and get it all set up here, let's look at the power supply. And it looks like these standard ones we've been seeing with all the latest miners, where you could hook up to 3 of these by the looks of things, as long as you have the proper connectors here coming in from the wires. This power supply here, some are different sizes, but this is about 816 watts, looking at the 200 to 240 volt at 3.4 amps. That is 816, and that's the same as 100 to 120 volt at 6.8 amps. So we could, depending on the power of this thing, it is rated to be around 150 watts or something. So you could hook a couple of these up and be well within margin of what this power supply can do. And ultimately, you should run a little more efficient in theory. That's still another test I have to do in the future, so stay tuned for that. And to run this on 240 volt, make sure you do flip your switch on the side here. It is defaulted to 115, so just flip that, and then you can run this thing up to 40 volt. All right, so while I am waiting for this thing to boot up, let's just kind of have a look at things. So this is supposed to be around a 10 terahash miner, and hopefully we do get around that 10 terahash. We do have that fused right beside it right there. This is Wi-Fi only, not Ethernet, so you cannot hardwire this thing in. Some people really love that hardwire, but for me, this is just fine rocking this thing on Wi-Fi. So here we can see 5.2, 7.7. We are gaining hash rate, and it's picking up fairly fast here. We are now at 9 terahash. Looks like we're about to hit 10. Are we going to do 10? We're doing like what's it called? What are we at here? An auction. We're doing an auction here. We're at 9.9. Are we going to see 10? Are we going to see 10 any minute? Oh, 10. 10.1 right there. So we're sitting at about 10.1 gigahash, 10.18. So now I'm just going to let it sit for a few minutes here and see what we're going to hang out about. So right now we can see 10.2 gigahash. Let's take a look at the power. All right, so we can see the power is 140.8 watts. That's pretty good. All right, guys, so about 140 watts, and no way. No. You guys see what I'm seeing? That is insane. What is going on? I'm just kidding, guys. That block didn't matter. What I'm going on here is I am testing the Bitcoin Cash testnet 4 as I'm going through the steps. I did a reg test at first. Everything passed. Now I'm testing on the testnet before I try mainnet here. But I am building an auto installer for Bitcoin as well as Bitcoin Cash nodes. with my own dashboard here, and then I will be releasing it once I know everything works. So right now you can see we found 13 blocks. Here's a nice little meter to determine based on your block difficulty how close you are to that block. You can just simply reset your round like so, and then when it finds another difficulty share, it'll start to count down all over again. That way when you find a block which is 100%, it'll count down and it'll keep track of all your best shares and everything right there. Here we can see our dashboard. We got our charts, you know, estimations here, all sorts of fun, good stuff here. Here we can see we have our workers, how many are connected, share analytics. So it'll tell you everything based on your shares, your rejection rate and everything. Here's all your shares, blocks that you found and where they are, all your transactions on the network. Obviously we don't have any yet, I'm just testing. You got your own mempool built into here. Here's your setup process. So a lot of stuff going on to prune the type of blockchain you're on, where you are, mainnet, testnet, export your config if you want to, things like that. You know, here's all your storage stuff that you have built in your rig. Here's your network stuff, node identity. You know, here's your ports that you're using, all the peers you're connected to, your security stuff, you know, your system, and then here's some logs, alerts. So I got to reject a share, as well as all your settings and everything. So a lot going on within this dashboard to pretty much show you everything for solo Bitcoin mining, bringing you as much information as possible. Also a nice, easy one-click mining setup for the dashboard, for your node, and for Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. So this is coming very soon. And, you know, maybe in the future, I can get this released onto, you know, someone from Bitcoin Merch and have Rabid branded miners with the dashboard to match. So a lot of options could be opening up here. But for people that obviously, most of you guys know how to set up your own nodes, but for people that really don't, this is a nice one-click installer with a nice dashboard to get things happening for you guys. So I just wanted to kind of showcase what I've been working on now, seeing how we are done with the Vast AI installer, and that's all ready for you guys. Link down in the description. Now, I also recently just added in miner discovery, where it'll detect miners that are on your network. And here you can see it's actually pulling my Octa Hydro axis here that is mining on 2 miners. So it's getting all the information. Now I got a lot of work to do, but I plan on allowing it to just auto run and set the config to your node automatically for easy setups to your own mining node. Now that's a work in progress, but you know, just ideas for the future. Anyway, guys, back to what I was doing with the Nexus S1. All right, so now let's look at those numbers versus some other miners here. So here we have the Nerd QX Nexus S1 under best efficiency. So when it comes to efficiencies, this is without a doubt the most efficient miner currently on the market. It's even more efficient than the new BSB, and keep in mind this is a BSB from Helium deployer, but the BSB B30 is less efficient than that, and that thing looks like a beast that's coming. This thing is more efficient than the Avalon Q, more efficient than the new latest version of the T3, and everything else currently that I have tested in the past. So when it comes to efficiency, this thing definitely reigns supreme on those latest chips here. But now if we look at the best price, things look a little bit different. Coming into T3 is actually the best price here per terahash at only $13.08. That followed by the Avalon Q at $14.67, followed by the soon to be coming B30, $26.63. It's falling down. You're actually paying $68.53 per terahash. So that is fairly on. So that is upwards on the expensive end when it comes to this miner. Yes, the efficiency is definitely there, but when it comes to the hash rate, you're going to be spending some premium money in order to receive this miner. $68.53 per terahash is that within your budget ranges. Remember, this thing is about 10.2 terahash and it's only using around 140 and sometimes 142 watts, which would drop that efficiency down a bit, but for the most part it was sitting around 140 watts for me. So 72.44 gigahash per watt and $68.53 per terahash is where this miner is currently sitting. How does that play out to you guys? All right, guys, so that does wrap up this video. Things are looking pretty nice and stable on this. The next test would have to be having it in a fairly warm environment and seeing if it overheats or not, or starts blowing them fuses, because as we know, a lot of the other ones, once they start getting warm, they start overheating, shutting down, and fuses start popping all over the place. So that's going to be an interesting test as well. It's not very warm out today, but hopefully soon it will hit that in the future. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this situation. It's definitely one of the most, or the current most efficient miner I have tested, but it's also coming in at a fairly high price range per terahash. Links will be down in the description. If you're looking for one of these, thoughts and opinions, leave them in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Rabid out.